Alrighty, here we are. We are going to take a look at how much are Artecho acrylic paints and can you paint a miniature with them? Yeah, that's what we're going to take a look at. So let me go back here. Let me copy this and we'll bring it onto here. And we'll just kind of bring this in here. I'll do that. We'll resize this and boom, there you go. Okay, so this is going to be an interesting video because I think this is going to be a test of the Artecho paints, which should be, I don't know, we'll see if it works or not. Hey, we got George here. George pops in and says hi. Good to see you, George. Yeah, I realized that usually most people will paint with like Army Painter or Citadel paints or some of the other well-known paints used for painting miniatures and so on and so forth, which you can get some pretty good results. And you know, with that, we've painted some stuff that kind of looks kind of good. You know, I mean, we got some good results out of Army Painter paints and things like that, obviously. But those things are quite the expensive paints. Yeah, they are. They will drain your pocketbook. So anyway, I realized that I had gotten these paints and I hadn't done a dedicated video on whether these work or not. So I was like, whoa, that would be kind of a cool video. And I'm also be able to get one more miniature off the pile of shame. So I thought that would be a good thing. Now, as innocuous as it sounds to get into painting miniatures, of course, if you're going to buy Warhammer figures or something like that, there's going to be a high price on those. If you print your own miniatures out of resin, like I ended up doing, it can be really inexpensive. And then, of course, we kind of dipped into actually printing out miniatures with our FDM printer, our Creality K2 Plus, which came out surprisingly well. Now, I do have some smaller nozzles that are en route from Micro Swiss, so I'll probably be able to pick those up maybe Monday or Tuesday. We'll keep the fingers crossed. We'll see how that goes. And we'll continue on that route. But when it comes to painting miniatures, whether it's FDM printed or resin printed, which is obviously the gold standard for details, you're going to be amazed at how expensive Army Painter paints are. It will blow your hair back. Let's take a look at this. And we're going to be using Amazon here. And there's Amazon. Yes, the Army Painter set, the 22 war paints, and you got all your colors there. Good paint set. 22 paints. 22. Now, these paints are tiny bottles. They're 18 milliliters. It's a bottle like this. And there's 22 of them. And it's $100. And if you look over here, we're actually going to copy and paste this, is that this will show an interesting picture because how much per ounce? $168.32 per ounce of the Army Painter Fanatic 22 paint set. Yeah. Ouch. That gets you just right below the heart, and the knife goes in and it twists. And again, remember, you're going to be painting, small miniatures, which if, you take a look at this is a small miniature. It's 32 millimeters. And you start figuring in how much the miniatures cost if you're buying Warhammer ones. Those are going to be, these are going to be really expensive. This is actually the very first Warhammer figure that I ever painted, and using the Warhammer paints, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, how much is this going to cost to get me into this hobby? And it's like, I'm paying an arm and a leg for the miniatures from Games Workshop, and then I'm, maybe it's half an arm for the paint. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. There's, you go through and you look at this. and for those of you who don't know, to put this into freedom units in perspective, we're looking at $101 for 22 paints. Those 18 milliliters, that's 0.3 fluid ounces. 0.03 fluid ounce. So the little small bottle that you see, there's not a lot in it. And so it's kind of reminds me of like breakfast cereal, where you buy a box of breakfast cereal and then you open up the carton, you look inside the box, and then, about a quarter of the way down, maybe a little bit more, then you'll start seeing some cereal in a bag, which is smaller than the dimensions of the box, and you're like, wow, I'm really getting screwed here. So yeah, that can be a thing. So when I was looking for other paints, I took the gamble, and what I ended up doing was checking out, looking at some other paints. Let's just get onto that, and we'll jump onto that page there. So this is what I ended up looking at, was the Artecho paints that we have here. And I got some stuff over there. Artecho professional acrylic paint set, 24 tubes, 60 milliliters. That's 2.02 ounces compared to 0.03 fluid ounces. Canvas, rockwood, fabric, art supplies, the whole 9 yards. You're getting a good size paint. And it looks like it's pretty good, and it's pretty thick. You can thin them out. They're acrylic paints, and they do quite well. I have been pretty pleased with these, but what we're going to end up doing is we're going to test them and paint a miniature and to see how that goes. But you can go here and you can look at this right here, and it's 57 cents per fluid ounce. So yeah, for the Artecho, we're looking at, and of course I'm going to be here in Korea, so we're going to get a little bit of a different little thing here. But yeah, notice that it ends up that it is 57 cents per fluid ounce, and you're getting a 60 milliliter or a 2.02 ounce bottle. Which, let me go get that bottle, and I'll show you what I mean, because there's a little bit of a difference here. Let's grab one of the bottles of these paints, and we will grab one of the ones from Artecho and show you the difference. We got Damas says, oh, these paints actually work really well. He said a lot of these cheaper paints are getting a lot better. They just don't have that premixed color like a lot of the expensive, but the color assortment that they give you, you can make your own. And, so here's the tiny bottle for the 0.03 fluid ounces, and here is the 2.2. So yeah, you do the math, and you got to realize that this is the cap, so the paint isn't there. And if we actually take a look at this, and if I can pull this off and see where the level of the paint is, it looks like the paint is about right there. About right there. So from there down is what you're getting for the paint with the Army Painter. This is oh, this one hasn't even been opened. But this is a full tube. And it is, look at that, it's just like right there, boom. It is 60 milliliters, 2.02 ounces. So, you're looking at paint that comes up to there, and then you're looking at these, and so we're going to see how they paint out. So, yeah. Adamus says, you cry every time you get a paint palette from Citadel. Oh yeah, we didn't even check out Citadel paints. Let's see what those come out to, because that was actually the first bit of paints. Citadel paints. Dun 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 dun. Let's go and take a look, and we'll see what we got here. Citadel paints. I like this one here, the Games Workshop. I think that's the first one we ended up getting, was that one right there. They got another one, Age of Sigmar paints. This was the paint set that I ended up getting. And dun, dun, dun. Unfortunately, it doesn't say how much per ounce, but it's $35. So, I mean, list price was $45, so it's a little bit better. So let's take a look at this and see, how much paint are actually in these things. Paint tools, blah, you got some tools in there, whatever. Can we see what we're getting? How many? How much? There's 13 paints in there, and it's $35, $36. 2023 edition. You get a little bit of tools in there. Let's see, we end up going. Oh, it doesn't even say. So, interesting. Let's see, item details. Okay. 13 paints, 3 inches, 1 count, blah, 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 blah. No, it doesn't say anything. Style. Doesn't say anything. Measurements. Materials and care. Doesn't. Interesting on how it doesn't say how much it is, but that's still pretty expensive. And when we compare this to the $27 with 24 tubes of paint compared to the $36 for, those little paint pots there, I think we got a better deal. I'm just going to say I think we got a better deal. Yeah. I think it's about a ½ ounce they usually give you per pot. That's probably about right. That's probably about right. And then if we look at the other ones that I ended up getting the Artecho acrylic paints that we see here, we got like metallic paints. This was a metallic, 12 metallic colors. Same thing, canvas wood, but that ends up here, and you can see that it's 71 cents per fluid ounce. So it's $16, $17 is what we get, but you got some cool metallic paints that we're going to take a look at, and we're going to try painting. So yeah, so we got like a bronze, green, yellow, black, blue, gold, pearl white, pink, Hello Kitty color, bronze, silver, purple. We got a red, and that must be the bronze there, and then that's the gold. So yeah, I'm kind of interesting. A lot of money, and those are 24 fluid ounce in those. And if you want a little bit of a comparison there, let me go grab one of those, because these are a fair amount of paints as well. 59 milliliters. And remember, these are 2.20 ounces, and this is 2 fluid ounce. So 2.02 versus 2 ounces, and you can see the difference that we have there. And we know that the tube is full. Let's see what we got in here. And now I've used this a little bit, but it looks like the level of the paint is about right there when we're talking about these. So we got right up there. Pretty decent size, pretty decent amount of paint. Vibrant color, that's for sure. So the gold today, $57 or 57 cents an ounce, 71 cents an ounce for the metallics. That seems pretty good. Not bad. So we're going to test these out and see if we can't get some type of color. I haven't thought about any type of color scheme. So I'm thinking maybe we could do like a gold. We could use gold. I like the green. We could do like a metallic green, and we could do gold for the trim, and kind of like a Warhammer type dude. So we'll take a look at that. So yeah. Adamas says the metallic paint markers are crazy good. I don't know how they're doing their paints, but everybody else needs to do the same. I would like to get some of that color for airbrushing. Yeah, the paint markers are pretty good. The only problem with the paint marker is you're limited by the size of the tip. And because they have a brush tip, which is kind of foamy, and you have some play in that, and then they have a fine tip, which is a little bit more rigid, but it's not really as fine as what you would think. I would have thought it would have been a finer tip, but the colors are nice. I just don't like the red, at least with the ones that I ended up getting. Which ones were those? Those were dun, 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 Just Art. So those were the Just Art paints. And let's take a look at those. And so the tip on the left is the brush side, and the tip on the right is the fine. But you actually have a finer tip on the brush, but the brush is more flexible than the fine tip one. So I don't know. I mean, it's cool that you got two different types of tips, but yeah, not bad. And these were like 20 bucks for 60 colors. The only problem is that with those, I don't like the red. The red is horrible. The red isn't red. The red is more like Hello Kitty pink. It's got a little bit of red in there, but it's mostly it's just I'm just not a fan of it. When it says, especially when the color of the red on the pen indicating the color that's inside is like, ooh, that's a nice color red. And then you paint with it and you're like, that's Hello Kitty pinkish little with a tiny bit of red. It doesn't match. These two, kind of like the Sesame Street song, one of these things is not like the other. That's what we end up getting. But the rest of them are pretty good. Yeah, the rest of them are pretty good. And there's only one red color. And you have and then it goes straight into orange. Which is strange because a lot of the other colors, you'll have green, you have like a dark green, then 2 or 3 other colors or shades of green that are lighter. Same thing with the blues and kind of the orange, the especially the purple. You got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors of like purple. And in blue, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe you could kind of stretch that into 6 or 7. So they've got a wide range of these colors. But when it comes to red, it's like, here's a red marker. We're just going to go red, and which isn't really red, and you're going to go into orange, and you'll have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, 3. Basically, it's 3. It's 3 oranges, and then for yellow, you've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. And then you got some metallics. So it's just odd that you wouldn't have a range of red colors with those acrylic pen markers. Other than that, I mean, it's pretty nice. They do some good colors. We looked at that. We'll take a look at that when we get over there. But this video, what I wanted to do is take a look at these Artecho paints. And I think what we'll end up doing is we'll do green. Because maybe it'll... Green Warhammer... faction. What are we kind of looking at? Kind of like the salamanders. So if we kind of do like a salamander thing, and let's get a good picture up here, and we can kind of take a look at kind of a green salamander. So okay, boom, there we go. So we're kind of looking at that there. We're seeing that we've got some green on there. It's got some little edge highlighting on the edges with some lighter green. We have black for the shoulder pieces, and then it's edged in gold, yellow eyes, black. Okay, kind of the same thing. That seems to be like the salamander thing. The green, that's still in the in the painting stage. Let's see if we can look at this one. So that's basically kind of like what we're looking at. Here what we end up seeing is we have like a darker shade of green, and then we have lighter shades of green that are put over it. We've got some edge highlighting. It doesn't have the black on there, but I think we'll end up doing a lot of edge highlighting. That looks really good, really. But I think what we'll end up trying is do something like that guy there. That will have black. I'm not going to freehand anything. I'm horrible at that. We'll just do some green. We'll do the black, and I think we'll end up doing the gold on there, like we saw on this dude here. And we'll try to, the gold Aquila and stuff like that. I think that's what we'll try to go for. And then, I don't know how far we'll get onto this. But black on his jetpack there. Again, you can see it's got some, it definitely has some edge highlighting there. They scratched in some wear marks and stuff like that. So, yeah. So we'll need green, black, and gold. We'll see how that works out. Dun, 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 dun. Ladama says, yeah, the color is not what you see on the marker top. You have to paint it yourself. I paint with tops. Okay, cool. Looks like some zenithal, priming first and then coming in with the base green and then some highlights. Yeah, that's what it looks like. I don't have zenithal going on, so it'll be interesting to see how this pops up. Maybe we can just do, because my airbrush is in the other room. So maybe we could just try some different things. I've got like makeup sponges and things like that, which I haven't used much at all. So we could give that a shot and see what happens. So yeah. If you don't want to use air, but sometimes dry brush can be similar. Yeah, dry brush, sponge, things like that. Those are good ideas. And I'm thinking about getting a small airbrush, like one of those handheld ones, cheap ones that you get off of Amazon, that it's self-contained. I know, they're horrible. Some people have gotten really good ones. I don't know, the airbrushes and with the little tiny compressors, little tiny ones that you got on Amazon. The first one I got is like the Galeri whatever. It was like the worst airbrush and the worst compressor that could be known to man. It was like horrible. Some people had good results with it. I guess I got the one that was built on a Friday late in the afternoon, and they just kind of slopped it together. But yeah, I'm going to take a gamble. I'm going to buy another one off Amazon, and we'll see how that one works. But until then, let's go over to the paint station, and we'll take a look over here. So yeah, and up in that top left-hand corner, I've got this nice little picture of me that will change from time to time. But we are going to jump on this and see what we can do. And I've done some rearranging with some of the stuff. We're not going to be using blue, but we have some different greens, and let's see. Oh, this might be good because we've got like a phthalo green, sap green, and then we have a lighter green, monstral green, and then we have viridian, which is too much blue, I think. I think what we could do is we could go with two of those. We could do this, and then we could try to highlight and do some green. But you know what? We could do the dry brush with this sap green, and that could be a good little color there. Now let's see what, we're going to need some gold. And oh yeah, we'll use that. So we've got some gold, we've got that bronze we might need, silver we could use, black we're going to use, so we'll do that. And yeah, we'll just kind of set this stuff off to the side. Now the thing with these paints is we're going to need to water them down. So we're going to have to thin them out. So that'll be a thing that we need to do. I do have a little makeup brush thing that I stole from my wife. And we'll see how that works. I think I used this like once or twice. Haven't really did anything with it. So let's move some of our terrain around. And we'll start off. Let's see if we can do some dry brushing with this. And we're going to use our handy dandy thing here that I ended up making. Let's make that brighter. So this is a miniature holder that I made, and yeah, that's on my Corality Cloud page. So with that, and it just holds it right in there. So I think we're good to go there. Maybe I could, yep, that one there. And it's got a little bit of movement as far as the brace and things like that. It's held together with hair bands, which is kind of a neat little thing. Now this guy is already primed in black, so we're good to go there. The thing we're going to end up doing, we're going to use some water. I've got my rinky-dink little, I'm a little gadget guy. And this is, I know this is cheesy, but it works for the most part, so. And then, let me put that back. So with this, we'll be able to take a look at the green, and maybe we can end up, we could take this green and we can do some dry brushing. So with this sap green, because that's kind of a dark color, we could come in later with this monastral green and do like some highlights. We'll see how that goes. And what do we need? We're going to need paint, and we're going to need a dry brush. Where that's a little big. Let's see. I think that'll work. And so we'll have to do a little bit of mixing. So, have I even used this? No, I have not. Oh, that's the other thing. Let me get, let me get my tablet up here, and so that way I can see what's going on. So I can see some comments. Okay. All right. The comments are really small on the tablet because I got a small tablet, so I should hear a ding. That's a nice color green, actually. I think that'll work out good. Let's just really need a trash can over here. So let's try some dry brushing. Now this is going to be interesting because I have not dry brushed anything but white, titanium white, and let's see, some grays I've done. So this will be an interesting little test. And we'll end up, we'll just try to do about half and see what happens. And then we're going to use my little paint mixer thing, and we'll see what we can end up doing here. Now, amazingly, the pigment on this is pretty smooth. There's some other paints that I tried getting here in Korea, like from Daiso or whatever, and it ends up that those things were horrible. The pigment was so thick, and it was probably like, of course it was really cheap paint. It was super cheap. So we'll see how that ends up. But that's pretty smooth. I like that. So that's a good sign. The other thing we can end up doing is, see what I told you? Just mostly white. But I had done some other colors with dry brushing. So actually I lied to you. Sorry about that. Yeah, I lied. Okay. Anyway, we're going to drive on. So let's see how this ends up going. We'll just do a tiny bit of, let me get another one of these. Yeah, we'll just throw that away. That's all dried out anyway. And we'll try to do our little bit of dry brushing in green, which is amazing because it'll be the first time I've ever dry brushed with green. So what we'll do, just throw some of that on there. And dry brusher just kind of go over that. And we don't want it too heavy. Let's just kind of see what we get. Is that a good, you know what? Let me see. It almost looks like we need to, let me change some lighting on this because it's still kind of dark. Let me see if I can change and add a little bit of brightness in there. So we can get a little bit, and then maybe even do that. Because the black is kind of black, so that's better. Alrighty, so. And here we go. So. We're going to need more paint. Maybe I put too much water on it. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting experiment. This will be interesting to see how this goes. So it's kind of a dark, definitely a darker green that we can see on there. And the coverage is good. Maybe it's just a little bit too wet. Maybe that was part of the problem. We can kind of put on another coat on here. And then this will be interesting. Especially getting right into the So we're definitely getting a dark green. Donna's saying you don't think that you need to thin it at all. It could be. This stuff is super thick though. I'll test that out. We can see how that goes. Because that is pretty thick. If you can take a look at that, you can see there's the thinned out stuff, and there's that. So let's try, we we'll just do some green on here, because it's, yeah, that's pretty light. That is indeed pretty light. So yeah, you're right. Look at that. So for the green, or whatever color, we're not going to need to thin that out. So it's good to know. Yes, definitely much better. Muy bueno. Yes, much better. I like it. Definitely get a better coat on there, that's for sure. And this didn't help because my arms are so sore. Today was arm day at the gym, and holy crow, it was a killer. The only problem is this guy doesn't have an Aquila. But it's coming out pretty nice. It's got a fair even coat on it. I'll just be try to get in those recesses a little bit. And then we'll see how this works out when we do the other colors, the other shades of green. definitely a good call on the not watering it down. Okay, I think we got a fair amount. We got a pretty decent base coat on there as far as the green. I think that'll work out. So, let's see. So we're gonna do the shoulder pads in black, but I think that'll work. Hello. We got Go For It Painting is here. That was larger muscle groups. This is fine motor groups. This is finishing off the workout. Yeah. Have a great paint job. We're going to try. We're trying out these new Artecho very inexpensive paints compared to the Army Painter ones, which are like $6.70 per fluid ounce, and these are like 70 some odd cents per fluid ounce. And so far, it's doing pretty good. So, not bad. And we found out that we don't need to water them down either, thin them out. So I'll leave that soap in there for now. And then what we can end up doing is, now that we've done that, we could go and we could check out, we could do the big parts, which could be the black. Let's see, let's use this one. So on these, we could go ahead and do black on the shoulder areas, and then that we could leave the gold for that little trim around there, and maybe we can do some trim and gold around this. We could do bronze for his little visor that we have there, and then we could go in and we could do some black for those, maybe black for this, I don't know. I want something to contrast, but I don't want it to, so this will be bronze. And then I guess we could do black on this, on the little tube thing that we got going on there. And then we could do his belt in like gold, and then we could do some other things. But we'll give some chance for this sap green to dry, and then we could come back and we could, I think we could end up using this monstral green, which is really light, bright. We could use a little makeup brush and see if we can't get some highlighted areas onto there. So yeah, let's go ahead and, but before that, since he's got his gun here, which is a significant amount, then we got his claws and everything, we could pull out some silver. We've got pearl black, which is a good color. I've used that. Silver, which is silver. And yes, I have used this. And I think we'll just, I don't think we'll thin this out. I mean, that's a junky piece of paint there. So we'll see what that does. whether we need to. That is some chunky paint. So, let's see. Trying to move this light around so we got it. Does that look a little bit better? I think it's okay. So let's start off with some silver and see how that'll go. Silver's got some good coverage. Man, it's thick. And that is silver. Holy crow. That is definitely a thick paint. The coverage is good. We still got a little bit of green underneath. You can see how it bleeds through a little bit. But we'll see how that goes. That is a bright silver. That is for sure. That is for sure. And then if we need to get some additional details on this, we could always do a wash to get into the crevices and to tone down how bright this silver is. Holy crow. You still see a little bit of the green is popping through there, but it's a good looking silver though, that's for sure. This does make me want to add some water to this a little bit because it is thick. It's a good looking silver. It's just super bright, that's for sure. Donna says they have any dark metal or gold that can go with some of the black. Yeah. Maybe just wet your brush. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing that. That's what I'm going to probably do here. Just pull a little bit into there. We'll see how that goes. Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's a lot better. Yes, yes, very good. That definitely works better. That other, without it, it just ends up being super chunky. So just pull in a little bit there. And it goes over a lot better too. But it's Friday, at least here in Korea it is anyway. It is Friday here in Korea. So we are enjoying it. But yeah, ever since I saw the price of like the paints for Games Workshop or Army Painter or whatever it is, just like holy crow. That is just some amazing prices. They are super proud of their paints, that's for sure. A little bit of water. A little bit. That's a pretty bright silver there. It's kind of like he's doing that. So, yeah. Oh, there we go. And there's, I thought I saw some black in there. Deep in the recesses of the hand. Mr. Hand. Was Mr. Hand the teacher in Fast Times at Ridgemont High? I think that was it. Okay. Wow, that is silver. That is silver. Those are brutal. I'm going to stick to Hobby Lobby or Michael's for paint supplies. Yeah. Fortunately, we don't have a Hobby Lobby. We got a Daiso, but I picked up some of those acrylic paints, and those were horrible. They were really horrible. And some of them, the bottles were just like extremely, the paints were so chunky. They were cheap. It was like 1,000 won. And it was a 60 milliliter bottle, kind of like these. These are 59. But the paints were so old. It was just like, it was like in the kids section. And yeah, it just wasn't good. So some of them I had to throw away, and I haven't even pulled those out since I tried a couple of them and they were just horrible. And 1,000 won for any type of reference, it's about $14.50 per dollar. So yeah, they were less than $1, but they were horrible. I guess they don't get used much, so. He just sat on the shelf, and one of them was totally unusable. So, but even then, these are, I do have to say, like the Army Painter paints for their metallics, whether it's the Speed Paint 2.0 or the regular Mega Army Painter sets, or heck, even the Citadel paints are their metallics. I like them a lot better. This is just like really white. It's really bright. Then again, maybe that's because I like Lead Belcher from Citadel. That's kind of like the ultimate color of paint for metallics, I think, is lead belcher for me. So, but like some of the coverage on this is, I don't know, it's there, but it's definitely different than the Army Painter paints, which is weird. I didn't think that would be a thing, but I've been only painting for a couple of years, 2 years, just over 2 years. I think it was maybe a year and 6 months. No, it was 6 months. We got here, and then about 6 months in, that's when I started painting, or learning how to paint with the Warhammer guys. And yeah, so that was my first foray. So I haven't been painting that long. So I still got a lot of stuff to learn. So if anybody's got tips and tricks, kind of like what Ladamus mentioned, I am all for it. So that's coming out good. And we can come back on all this stuff and we can get we can do like some bronze on here, and then maybe, but I just kind of, I don't want to use any of those other paints from like Army Painter or whatever. I just want to do this solely with the Artecho paints. And so that way we can kind of get a look and see, you know, are these the type of paints that we could use, or I could use anyway, for miniatures. We'll see how those go. George pops in and says, I know they say you get what you pay for, but I can't break the bank every time I want to do something. Ladonna says, the more expensive paints, they just seem to mix their colors and make them a little bit darker. They add a little bit of warmth or coolness to it. Yeah, I mean, this is the one thing. The Army Painter paints are really nice, and there's such a wide array of colors. Usually mix my metallics with ink or give them a wash to get the crevices to pop. Yeah. I am totally for that. Washes are pretty cool. And yeah, they can just, the way they flow into the crevices and the creases and all that stuff, that just really, really make a huge difference. And so yeah, those are definitely worthwhile. And for the most part, I think we did pretty good on that. Got some pretty good coverage. I think we're good on that. The silver's got like, I don't know if you can see it on here, but it's almost like it's got a little tiny bit of blue in there. So, I apologize for the camera. It's just a webcam Logitech Brio, but it's got like a silverish color to it. So, interesting. Interesting. So we did the silver. Let's see what some other stuff we can do. We could go and do, so we got some bronze. We've got, let's go ahead. We got some black, pearl black. And oh no, I ended up getting a little bit on there. Let's see if I can I get that off of there? No, it's not going to go off. Oh, yeah, I did. So let's do some pearl black. This pearl black has got an interesting little color to it. And we'll do these two side shoulder pieces. And we'll see how that turns out. And it's a real nice color. I don't know if that's coming in good, but it's a pretty nice black color. And it's got like a sheen to it. That is pretty cool. Or not cool as in color cool, but it's a kind of reminds me of Leadbelcher actually. So, and you can really see this when we pop this in here. This is more like Leadbelcher than anything else. And you'll be able to see that. See that it's kind of I would say it's like a dark silver really, instead of like a black. I think if it was going to be black, it would be a little bit blacker than this. Get some of those streaks out of there. That is, how's that coming out? See, it's not like black. It's more like Leadbelcher, actually. It's kind of more like an armor thing that I think like a gunmetal, actually. The hint of blue and the silver, yeah. It's almost like a dark, yeah, it's like a dark pewter. That's, pewter is exactly, yeah. It's just, I'm wondering, we'll just go ahead and paint this other side and then we can see what happens. Because we know that's going to be, it's almost like I should have painted the guns with this color. But we'll run with this. We'll just see what happens. I mean, either way, this is, get this guy painted, he'll be off the shelf of shame, the pile of shame. He will be off, even if the color scheme is not the fully desired effect that we wanted. But it glides on good. So there's that. I mean, that's nice. It's got a nice texture to it. It's not like clunky. It is really, really smooth. Get some of those brush strokes off of there. So yeah, that is like a pewter color. That is for sure. You nailed it in calling that one. Yeah, pewter. Interesting. The only good thing with this being the pewter color is that if we bring gold into it, that'll be a real good contrast. So, you know, we got some other colors. We got another black we can try. Because this is the metallic. I would call this lead belcher myself. If I was going to compare that, that's... Oh, let's see. We've got black. We got black somewhere. We got white. Brown. Now this is an interesting black, but it's not like a black black. It's called lamp black. And we can see a little bit of difference there. Let's see if we can... Just kind of mix in a little bit of water to that. Just a tiny bit. Because that is, the black is kind of clunky. But you can see the difference in the color. Let me do the same thing with the black pearl, which is more like lead belcher. And kind of get a comparison so we can see with that. I mean, it's a good color, it's just not black. So there's the two colors. So you can see the one on the left is the silver, which is more like a lead belcher, and then the black is definitely black. So I think we will go... The silver we could end up doing like the tanks on the back, and then the black we'll go ahead and let that dry. Let's go ahead and paint these with the lead belcher, the pewter, which is probably what it should have been called. And we'll just throw some paint on here. And then we can go back, and then those side shoulder pieces, what we can end up doing is hitting that with black. Because that is probably what needs to happen. Yeah, I think this will make more sense. Yes, indeedy. That will definitely make more sense. Because I definitely don't want to do the tanks in that silver, because that is just way too bright. Yeah, I think that'll look better. And then off of this, the silver, which is really like a pewter color that we've Maybe I should get a Sharpie and just write pewter on the black pearl metallic color. And that way we'll know for future use. But then we can get some of the bronze and do some of the, like the piping on here and some of the other stuff. I think that would look really cool with the bronze. That would be a good contrast. So yeah. That'll be good. This little paint holder thing, or model miniature holder, paint holder, or miniature paint stand, whatever the hell it is. I made that up in Tinkercad and it is working fantastically well. Printed it out on my K2 Plus and it has been doing great. The more I use it, the more I like it. Okay, I think we're good. I like that color. I really, really like that color. I mean, look how well that, on that side piece, on his shoulders, that is a really good color. I like that, but I don't, it's definitely not silver, or it's definitely not black. So, you see, focus. I'm getting another camera, so that way it's got a better fast focus. But yeah, I like that. I like that really good. So now let's go over, because these side things should be done. Yeah. I'll do those in black. Oh, that is black. Yes, that is the black that we wanted. That is black. Which I think it'll come out nice. I think it'll look good. Good. Yes, I like that. So this black is actually black. I mean, I get what they were trying to do with that black pearl, but it's just way too, it's not black enough. It's like more like a Again, like a pewter. But this is definitely better. Yeah, that looks a lot better. So yeah, I think we got a good base for that. Let's see, some other stuff we can do. The soles of his feet in black. Well, we got to do something with the base. I think I'll leave that. Well, I guess I could do his boots. That sole. At least we can get that. And then we'll do something cool with the base. And of course, it'll probably cover up most of that black anyway, but the black is black. So that is good to know. Good to know. That's interesting because I was looking on Amazon for the paints. I notice a lot of the Army Painter paint sets are not available. So I don't know. Does anybody know that they're coming out with new ones? Is that the thing? That looks better. On a bit of a different note, did you see the trailer for The Death of Robin Hood? No, I hadn't. I had not, George. There's that trailer. Obviously, that's dropped. But then another trailer that I haven't seen is the new Marvel one. I haven't seen that either. I'm kind of waiting to do that. Let's see. We can do a little bit of black, and so we do a little bit of details. So was it good? I guess that's the question. Oh, and I can do like in between, like his crotch or whatever. Did it look good, or does it look cheesy, or? Should I not watch it? Should I hide my eyes when I'm watching it? And who's in it? The Death of Robin Hood. I haven't heard anything about that. Trailer looks pretty good. Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman? Wow. No, that is totally new to me. Hugh Jackman. Interesting. So I get done with this and I eat some dinner, I'll go check that out. Okay. See at the back of his legs we can end up doing here. That new Marvel one, I can't remember the name of it, but apparently they got the new Marvel one, and I hope it's a good movie. Because most Marvel stuff recently has been like trash, in my opinion. So if you like it, it's subjective. If you like it and you like the new stuff, good on you. Me, not so much. Let's do a little bit. I'll try to keep paint out of that ferrule. Trying to take better care of my brushes and make sure I just don't glob on a ton of shit. Maybe some knee pads here. We'll do those in black, so that way we kind of get some. Kind of like a little bit of continuity on some of this. Yeah, the tube of Artecho black is nice. I like it. That is definitely a black. So yeah, I think that'll be good. And then we could even, he's got like this little thing here, kind of like a joint. And we could do that in black. And then the center little pin on there, we could end up doing that in like a bronze or something, or like gold, something to really kind of contrast. Because we're going to try to do some gold on the up top, or maybe bronze or whatever. And we'll see how we can do something to kind of bring it in together. Little dots of gold on there. Give them some bling. Some blingity bling bling. So yeah. So I think that looks good. We got it going there. So move that out of the way. Let's see what else. Maybe do black on this button. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Yeah, that'll work. And we got a little bit of silver on the, screwed up a little bit of silver. Wonder if we can get that little bit of silver off of there maybe. No. And just go through and maybe we can just hide that a little bit. Ding. Oh, that is bright. Seriously. Oh well, we'll just keep that because this is going to end up being bright. Okay, next to that. Get a little bit of silver on the little back little piece there, but ooh, you know what we could do? We could actually use some silver, some brighter silver, and we could do some damage marks on there. Ah, that's what we can do. Yeah, damage marks. That's what I was totally going for. Yeah, that's what I was doing. Let's see if we can get a little. Digging it. Let's see, what else can we do? Can I reactivate some of that silver? No. We got the silver handle that we can try to get just a little bit. I wasn't paying attention. One thing that's silver, it is bright. It's a good looking color. It's just like it's got like a coolish titanium blue, silver type of thing that we got going on there. Not bad. Not bad. So black is black, black is good. So that's good. Black pearl is more like lead belcher, which is, yeah, it's close. Get a little bit, but it's lead belcher light. So we got that. Silver is really bright. It's almost like a titanium silver color. We have bronze, and I'm assuming that's gold. We haven't even cracked this one open. Bright gold. Told you these were new paints. Of course, you can't even, they're so thick. Look at that. That is, ooh, it's going to look nice. I wonder if you can shake these up. And then we have the bronze, which is, that's a nice color as well. Look at that. I think we could use the gold and we could put that on the visor, because I don't think the only other, I think the yellow, pearl yellow will be just, I don't know, what do y'all think? Should I do the visor in yellow? And then I could do some bronze on some of the stuff like the back of the jet pack there. We could do some bronze on there. And then we could go through and we could kind of use the gold. The gold, what we could end up doing is kind of like on this edge here, on the shoulder, we could do that in gold. And then maybe we could do a piece up there in gold that goes around. Then we could end up, oh, I could do black on that as well. That would frame out that. That would look good. Forgot about that. So let's get some black. And we'll get this hose that we got going on here. Careful. Okay, so that'll good. So yeah, what do you think? I'm looking forward to Project Hail Mary. Doomsday, that's it, the Doomsday one. That's the Marvel one. George says I'm going to be printing some models for my little cousin to paint because she loves to paint. I like that green. Yeah. So for his visor, has anybody got any ideas for the visor? Should we do yellow for the visor? You can see how that comes off. That's a bright, that is bright. That is super bright. That is crazy bright yellow. Or, I mean, the yellow would be, boom, that would be huge. That would be huge. Let's try it. What the heck? Let's go for it. Go for the gold. Actually, I don't even think I'm going to squirt any out. I think we can just end up doing is we'll just get a little bit. So I don't go crazy. Like using too much paint, kind of like what I did with the black pearl and the black. I'll just get a little bit. Let's just try just a little brush dab of water. I'll see if we can do this. You know what? Let me get my super geek glasses on. And we will get up close and personal on this thing. Yeah, that is going to be interesting. Because that is not going to go on like I thought. That is downright ugly. Okay. But the good thing is we can wipe that off. You know, we might have to end up doing. Oh, pressing too hard, Wilson. Chill out. We might have to go through and we could do some white on there. Because if we do some white, that might help. I don't know. Swedish Forge. Hey, Swedish Forge is in the house. I'm not really digging the yellow. Even though I would like the yellow, I don't think I'm digging the yellow. Because it's just, it's not smooth. It's smooth, but the coverage isn't as good as like the silver or the black. Let's try some gold. I mean, if it doesn't work, we can always just, because that is a nice color. We'll see what the coverage is on the gold. Because gold will look good on that if we can get a good color on it, or a good. It might just end up, we might have to do a few coats, is what it's looking like. Or the other thing I could end up doing is wiping this off, and then we could do like a white on there. I don't know. Interesting. We get a let's do that instead. And then we'll mix a little bit of water in there and see if we can't get a little bit more flow out of this, because this it's just an odd. Just doesn't. Just doesn't flow like it should. Kind of like the flow on the silver and stuff was a lot better. Just put that. It's just a little rough. It's definitely rough. Maybe it just needs to dry, and then I don't know, I think it's just a little too, I think it needs to be thinned out a little bit more. Well, you just try to dry that, let that dry and see what happens. Let's move on to some other stuff. Otherwise, I'll just keep screwing with it, and it's not going to do anything until it dries. So, okay. Let's do some bronze details on the back of this, because I know the bronze is a nice color. We just get a little bit of bronze on there. That's a nice color. Seriously? Really? have a bronze floor. Okay. The joys of live streaming. Gotta love it. I had a bunch of pennies I could paint them. More wet wipes. Let me throw these away. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Still, nice color though. And I want to use a little bit of a smaller brush. This one. And I'll do like this tube here. Oh yeah, that'll be good. Oh yeah. These are turning out pretty good. I like the bronze. It is nice. How well that turned out. Nice, nice. Let's continue on. I'll just do some little details here. It reminds me like a little steampunk. I got that there. And I'm wondering if we can't we can just get over this and just hit these edges. On the rings there, like that. And yes, we can. Careful. So it turned out good. Nice little details that we got there. And we'll continue on with the ones on the top since that worked. Just trying to see. Oh yeah, nice. I like that that color. They're good complementary colors. I think I can do a little bit of an edge on the outside. So yeah, it looks pretty good. I like that color. It is really a nice color. And we could go so far as to do the individual rivets on there, which would look nice. So we will need, is that the smallest brush I have? I think it might be the smallest one I have is this red one. It is. Okay. So we're gonna attempt it. And do the individual rivets. And that is breathe, relax. Small rivet. Good Lord. There's a rivet back there, but I can't get to it, and I screwed it up, so I'm just going to paint, which will actually look good. A little bit. Okay. Okay, I think we're good there. We get a couple more on the bottom here. So yeah, I think we're doing okay on our rivets. Almost imperceptible. I'm wondering if I should do these grates. I think I should do these grates in bronze as well. I think that would be good. Just make sure we mix this up good. I think that would look really good, but man, that is... Just trying to get into that recess. Good Lord. I'm going to have a little bit of a spill. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I just have to do the other side. It is a really nice color. Without a doubt. Okay, I think we're good on that. And the gold turned good on the visor. That turned out nice. If we can get that to focus, yeah. So that turned out good. And then the details on the back. Again, I apologize for the camera being crappy. But that turned out good. Nice. So, actually gold turned out pretty good on the visor. Gives that halo-like effect on the visor there. And then the backpack's kind of got that steampunk type of thing going. And all of this, that is going to be an interesting thing. An interesting thing indeed. Let's carry on some of the bronze. I want to do some bronze here because I don't want just bronze up here. I want to have just a little dot there on where that joint. So let's go ahead and I'll put a little bit on there. I really don't like my glasses. I got new glasses and supposedly a new prescription, but it's just, I don't know. I just don't like it. Yeah, so we got that there. That'll kind of tie it in so it doesn't like, oh, dude just went bronze and then didn't, you know. Wanted to have a little bit of connectivity. Continuity, I think that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, that'll be good. I'll tie that in. And then he's got some rivets on his butt plate there that I think we can throw on a couple of dots on there. And then that'll kind of tie that in as well. We kind of got that. Yes, coming together nicely. And you know what? On these tubes on his lower legs, we could do some of that pearl. And then we could come back and we do the same thing. We could cap it off with the bronze. I think that is a wonderful idea. I see, we got enough of that. I think we can reconstitute that. Because I really like that color. And it goes on so smooth. I think with that bronze, that'll look really good. good. I think that will be a winner. Oh yeah, that's going to look good. So I'll have the silver, which is actually the whatever that was, the black pearl, which isn't really black, and then we'll cap that off with the bronze on the top and the bottom of those. That'll look hot. That'll look really, really good. And you know, I think that bronze would look good on the rest of the rivets. I think that'll be nice. There's a little bit of black I want to end up doing. Just some little tiny, like a tiny little accent piece. Just a little tiny little square there. Good, 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 good. Water that paint down just enough so that we can get it to flow in there. Good. Do a little bit of black on that. A little bit there. I don't know if I want to do another. I guess I could do black. Let's just go ahead and run with that. This piece here. Well, I could actually, let's just do the outer rim of that in black. And then the center, we'll do that in that bronze. And that'll make that pop. And then need to clean some of that up. And we'll come back with that bronze, and we'll do those rivets on that black. That'll really come out nice. Got some areas where I've touched it. Nice, nice. Okay. Take a swig. It's 5:40. No wonder my stomach is growling. Looking good, looking good. I think we're doing good. So with that, let's go ahead and we'll do the bronze on that back piece there, on those little pieces. And then we can pretty much, I think we can call it a night. And then we'll come back and we hit some of this other stuff up later. We'll do another, like with the gold, we'll come back with the gold on the visor and do another coat. I'll thin that out. So many rivets, so many rivets. We're going to do in bronze. I think that'll look good. So let's get back to the Bronze Age. And since we still have bronze, and here we go. Of course, that's a lot of bronze. Bronze is a little thick. Need to flow just a little bit more. That's better. Yeah, that's better. Still a little thick. I'll press on. Needs a little bit of thinning, a little bit of thinning. See if we can do a little bit better on the other side. Yeah. Yep, much better. Dang it. In case you're wondering, so I messed up and I got some paint on the silver color and I got the bronze on there. So what I did is I took a clean brush, put a little bit of water on it, and then you're able to wipe that away, and that seems to work out pretty good. So if you mess up, that way you don't have to go back and repaint the piece. You can just go through and get a quick little bit of paint on there, or the water to kind of wick up the paint and wipe it away. And you can, it's got to be like right after you make the mistake. Because if you wait for it to dry, it's not going to work. Alrighty. That looks pretty good. As far as nice. Okay. So, cool. I have to do another video. And the other thing we could end up doing with this lighter shade, that's really, really light. I don't know if we can do that. I'm kind of hesitant because I was thinking about taking like this and then going through, let's see, let's get a little dab of water on there. So basically we'd have the, like say the black is going to be the dark green, and then we can come in here with a, with this, and we can just kind of just get a little bit of highlight on there using the sponge. And it's, I know it's kind of hard to see, but there's like a little bit of, you know, we could take it and just barely get it and add a little bit of green highlight on there. And so we could add a little bit of green highlight. We can kind of draw that in, kind of like what we're doing here. And I haven't done much of this, so it's kind of like I'm kind of nervous to do it. But you can kind of see where we got a little bit of highlight on there of the green. It's hard to see, but we could brighten up some of the areas on this and like where the light's going to hit, but I don't know if I want to do that. I think this is, honestly, I think this is turning out, I don't think we want to do that. So, yeah, interesting. So I have to go through, I have to clean this anyway. So I think we're at a good stopping point. And then we could go through, when we come back, I think we we'll go through and we'll hit bronze on all these rivets, which is going to be a pain because, I mean, let's see how many rivets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 60, 64, 68, 70, 72, 74, 76, 78, 80, 82, another 84. Yeah, we got a bunch of rivets in there. There's 4 there. 88. There's a couple more. 90, 94. Another 4, 98. So yeah, we've got probably over 100, and there's some other ones down there. We've got over 100 rivets to do on this, and that's not even counted. Well, that's probably 104, 6. That's 106. I forgot that. 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. So about 120, then we still got some more. So yeah, we got about 120 to 130 rivets to do on this guy. So I don't know if we're going to do another video. The other thing we could do is come back with, I guess, before we take off, we could do some of this silver. Not the silver, but the black pearl, which is actually pewter, and we can come over and we could do some of these. Let's see if we can reconstitute some. Can we salvage this? If I used a wet palette, which I do, and we can just hit this with the pewter. That's so close to that color anyway. On that band around the Gatling gun. Which is coming out nice, actually. And then we could do kind of get a little bit of different color from that massive amount of silver. And then we could do some on this as well, a little shield. Which we can do that. That'll darken that up a little bit. don't want to have all of that silver because it's just way too much. You know, the fun thing about this is I'll paint a bunch of stuff or whatever I paint, and I'll go run to my wife and say, "Hey, look, sweetie." And she looks at it, and it's like almost like it's a little kid, kindergarten, bring, "Hey, mommy, look what I did." Make that darker too. The handle. So it's kind of funny. She's like, "Yeah, good job. That's really nice." You know what I need to do? Here's what I need to do. You know, like when you got kids and they draw a picture and you put it on the refrigerator. I don't know. That's kind of a thing in the United States. And I guess in Korea too, kids do that as well. But I could make a shelf for the refrigerator for miniatures, so when I paint a miniature, I have the little shelf, and so it'd be like, have like a row of miniatures. Maybe just like 3. The latest 3 miniatures that I painted. And I think that could be cool. Alrighty. Okay, I think we're getting better. Alrighty, so I think we're at a good stopping point. I like the colors on the back. It's got a real kind of steampunk type of look to it. So I'm calling that a win. And let's see, can we get stop dropping stuff. See if we can get a good shot on that. Maybe. There we go. It's trying. Let's see how we... I apologize, this camera just sucks. And then down on the feed we got that. And then the gold on the visor turned out pretty good. So we're getting there. We are getting there. But that, yeah, definitely the back has looked pretty good with those colors and everything. The bronze and that silver, metallic silver. Or no, it wasn't silver. What the hell was that? Because we had the silver that was super bright silver. So it wasn't the silver, it was the black. That's what it was. It was the black pearl. Pearl black is the one that looks like lead bilger. You know what? I need my Sharpie. Because we're gonna... I'll just put up on the top of this LB for lead bilger color-ish. There we go. It's not the best Sharpie in the world, but it works. Okay, so I think we have done good today. So we will end up loading these with some soap. So I need to wash this. Should probably wash this one. And then this one. And then we gotta wash that, so we're good to go. Our lead belcher, our silver, super bright silver. And yeah, I think we had a successful. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and I'm gonna say that the Artecho paints work. It's just need to look at some of the paints like these. When we did the main green on there, we didn't have to dilute this or add any water to it. We did that, it was just too much water, but this by itself was good to go. And then the silver was super bright silver, so we definitely need a wash on that. But our pearl black, a metallic, is actually kind of like a lead belcher type of a color, and that came out really nice. And then the black, this lamp black is a really good black. So yeah, I think we did well on that. So yeah, I would say that the Artecho paints work well. And then, oh yeah, we also did the gold for the visor on there, and that came out famously. That looks really good. Do another coat on that and get the lines out, and that'll look really nice. I mean, it looks nice the way it is now, but you can clean that up a little bit. And the yellow we didn't use. So yeah, the bronze came out really nice. So the bronze and the lead belcher, those definitely go together. Those are good ones there. And we'll just continue through and doing little spots of bronze when we come back. That'll be another video. So yeah, there it is. That is going to be it. I think we're good. So thank you all for joining me on this trip, painting and having fun and getting dirty a little bit, testing out the Artecho paints. I think they work. And the price is nice. That's what I like. The price is nice. Alrighty, so let's go back to the table. So we'll turn that off. And we'll come back. Oh, push the chair in because it's getting to be dinner time. And I am famously hungry. Alrighty, so, man, sounds like we had a good one. So how much are Artecho paints? It ends up, it's like 71 cents for an ounce is what it came out to be. What was it? No, for the tubes, it was 57 cents a fluid ounce. And then the other ones, the metallics, what did those come out to? Let's see if we can do a quick little look-see on that. Dun, dun, dun. Why don't we just search the order for paint? That would probably work a lot better. Dun, dun, dun. Metallic paints, there it is. Yeah, it didn't have the, it was 71 cents per fluid ounce for the metallic paints. So yeah, those turned out really good. And when we compare those to the Army Painter paints, which were $168.32 per fluid ounce. And that's for like the Fanatic Most Wanted paint set of 22 paints. So yeah, the Artecho paints, we've got 12 metallic colors at 71 cents a fluid ounce. And then the other one ended up, what was that? Oh, I just closed that. Seriously? It was 57 cents. That one was 57 cents per ounce. So yeah, I would definitely say that that is a win. We've got Artecho paints, pretty good. 59, 60 milliliters of paint, 2 or 2.02 fluid ounces. Great bargain. And again, the prices are nice. It's easy on the pocketbook. And as you can see, they worked out pretty well on that figure. So yeah, I would say those are acceptable. I think we did a good job on that. We still have some more to go. So yeah, I'm definitely going to call it as that is, it works. Okay. So with that being said, I'm starving. Thank you all for the likes. And if you haven't and you're watching in the background, please like and subscribe. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate that. And we'll continue on. In the next video, we'll do some more painting of that guy because we've got like 120 bronze rivets that we need to nail down. So that'll really, really look good. With that, some people have been wondering how they get in contact with me. Well, boom, here it is. You can contact me at this email address, officialtheverylife@gmail.com, and show me what you're painting. If you know of better ways in which I can become a better painter, tips, tricks, links, playlists, videos, whatever it is, I am open. I'm very open to getting better, and you all have helped me with that in the past and with some other stuff as well. So hats off to you all. I thank you very much for that. Some people over here bought me coffee. There's a link, description box, whatever. If you want to do that, that's cool. If not, I totally understand. The best thing that you could do is like and subscribe to the channel. That would really, really help me out. So you do that, give me a solid. I'll keep making some cool videos, hopefully, and continue on in 2026, getting better at painting and 3D printing. And yeah, we're going to have some cool stuff. We're going to have fun. So the other thing I want to test is if I can take the Artecho paints and put them through an airbrush, because the pigment is really, really smooth. So that'll be another video. Again, there's so many videos I want to make, but eventually maybe we'll get around to that as well. Okay, so that's it. Again, thank you very much, everybody that watched. We will see you on the next video. And so with that, peace, hang, print, be a better person. That's all we can ask for. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Peace.